Welcome back to Joy of the Hang. It's Sharon, and there's no Lauren this week, but instead, we are very lucky to have her beautiful daughter, Davis, with us.
Yes, we upgraded today.
We might have upgraded. I'm not telling your mother, though, that you said that. She might hear it. But and we also have with us Trish Appello, who's the executive producer of the hybrid comedic docuseries, The Eff You 50s, boldly declared, I can thrive at 55. This marked the beginning of her foray into the independent film arena, where she discovered her professional, artistic, and collaborative passion. With her children now independent, it was finally mommy's turn. I know all about that, Trish. Mm-hmm. So we're excited to learn more about that. Trish saw the importance of an on-set experience and embraced an educational path, including enrolling in the UCLA Extension Independent Film Producing Certificate Program. Upon graduation, Trish realized it was time to tell the story that had lived inside her for almost 2 decades. As Trish was aging and finding more gray hairs, now they're fairy hair. It's called fairy hair now.
Oh, okay.
You know, the girls all put the fairy hair in.
Oh, fairy? Okay.
So I'm like, it looks like gray hair to me, silver hair. She also found her voice. She experienced a transformative journey, often accompanied by menopause. Mm-hmm. This led her to coin the phrase, the Eff You 50s, to push back against societal expectations of women as they age. She realized very quickly she was far from alone. Yes, if we're all lucky to reach this age, we're all going to go through it, right? Yep. As females, men have their own things.
Yes.
This series was born from Trish's experiences as a filmmaker and storyteller and the drive to share her voice. Today's seasoned gals showcase their worth, declaring they still have much to contribute and that they can define their prime. Welcome, Trish.
Thank you for having me, Sharon, and great to meet you, Davis. Thank you. And I'm so happy you're here because I am a very big supporter of multi-generational conversations, and I think we all learn from each other. So this is going to be great. Thank you. I want to introduce my executive producer, who's also here, Kimberly Heath Carrico.
Good afternoon. Wonderful to be here. And I'm thrilled that Trish and I will be able to kind of lend some light and some insight into what we're doing with this project. And take it away, Trish.
Oh, okay.
So I was at your film premiere.
You were?
About a
Thank
week
you
ago,
again.
right? 2 years, 2 weeks ago almost now?
Yeah, about the 15th,
Yeah. So incredible project.
Thank you.
And so it's been burning inside you for 2 decades. Tell me about that.
Okay. I think it was really in my 40s. I started to feel this different, non-people pleasing feeling inside me. You know, I would, someone doesn't like me. It's like, oh, all right. My mother-in-law would say things. I wouldn't go up and cry in my room. I'd be like, okay, that's your opinion. I started not caring what people thought of me. And I went to my nurse practitioner, who was in my my film, which is a proof of concept for a series. I went to my nurse practitioner and I told her about what I was going through, and she said, "Well, scientifically, there is a reason. It's because the testosterone in your body is becoming more prominent, and the estrogen is starting to decrease with menopause." And I said, "This is what it feels like to be a guy." And I said, "This is effing great." And I said the full word. I won't say it here, but I did say the full word. So I started to say, cool with the I started off at the FU 40s. So it was like maybe late 40s. And Facebook came around and email and just conversations. And I realized I wasn't alone.
Yeah.
And many of my girlfriends who were my age were feeling the same. They're like, I feel that. I'm going through that. Yes, exactly. And then once I hit 50, oh, it really took off.
Yeah.
Within me. And the kids, I have 2 kids, 2 great kids. I stayed home. My husband had a wonderful, wonderful career. And the kids went off to college. My husband still had his career. And I looked and I said, now what do I do? And I happened to stumble upon a film festival that was in my town, and I volunteered. And from there, I was introduced to the independent film community, which is it's the stories these filmmakers would tell you, how they would film these important subjects on very limited budget. Independent film is basically a term for filming outside the studio system.
Right.
So,
And also for being poor. Let
Yeah.
me say that out loud. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't start out where you have lots of money to produce. So yeah.
right. And they're doing like a lot of the Oscar nominated films, Oscar nominated actresses are and actors are coming from the independent film community.
Amen.
Yep.
Yeah.
With that being said, I sat on the board. I was the liaison. I conducted hundreds and hundreds of Q&A with the filmmakers and realized this is where I belong. This is what I want to do. And two things happened. I moved to Florida, and the film industry here is not the same as it is in New York City. I live 45 minutes outside of New York City, and I could work and I could work daily, basically as an extra, and I could audition daily. In Florida, it's a little bit different. So that happened, and then COVID happened. And when COVID happened, I decided to go back to school, and I found the UCLA uh, Independent Film Producing Certificate Program online. Went for 2.5 years, and I literally walked the stage at UCLA in June of 2023 for the graduation ceremony.
I know it's crazy to me that you can do that online now. I mean, you think about I graduated from college in 1988. I mean, there was no online.
No, there was no
anything.
online.
Yeah.
I majored in journalism and I was still typing all of imagine that.
Yeah.
I'm saying this to Davis, who's 20. Like,
Uh-huh.
imagine having to type all of your papers and not be able to just,
Exactly.
erase it. You had to get whiteout and do you know what
Oh, boy.
whiteout is? Yeah, I do.
Oh, remember typing, and then and putting the white at the strip and
Oh,
then
it was-
going backwards.
It was dreadful. The fact that you can get a degree online is so wonderful, isn't it?
It is
Wow.
wonderful.
Yeah.
It is wonderful.
That's one of the things that is really inspiring for women our age too, is like after we're done raising the kids and we decide what we're going to do. I've been attending the NYC or NYU rather, Tisch program through their extension program.
Mhm.
And that's, I mean,
Yeah.
it's wildly inspiring, but it's also when you see who's in these classes with you, you're like, I get you. I get you. And it's a lot of women who are of our age. So, it's just a different path. It's a different path.
Yeah.
It's you get to choose. I'm one of 7 kids from Long Island, New York, and 5 girls, 2 boys, and my mom wanted all of her daughters to go to college. And in the 70s, that really wasn't a thing. And I just went for 2 years. I got an associate's degree, and I was like, well, college isn't for me. But if I was studying at the time TV and film production, I probably would have gotten my PhD because that's how much I love it.
Yeah.
Eh.
Did you have a question? I have a question. So I think that's interesting because I actually majored in journalism too.
Right.
So I wanted to go into broadcasting.
Mhm.
That was
Wow.
my thing. But back then, I mean, we didn't have as many options or opportunities.
Right?
So I think that's why I'm podcasting now.
I love that. I love that you're doing this and that
Yeah.
your degree, which you were passionate about probably back in the 80s, you're
Right.
getting to use now.
Still
And-
passionate about writing
Right.
and
And-
talking to people. Yeah.
And
Mm.
you're doing it on your terms.
Right. Right.
And I'm just wondering from a young person's perspective, when you hear Trish talking about this project and about what we're going to do you have any thoughts? We'd love to hear your perspective.
Honestly, I feel like I need to hear a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious. I don't
Right.
really have questions, more of just like curiosity and kind of it's a crazy way to get into it. And a lot of stuff changed for me with COVID as well. So
Let me ask you something. Do you have a mother that's at least coming close to 50?
yeah, my mom is
53?
Mom's like 33 and eyes.
32. She's 32.
Yeah.
So the thing is, you already know part of the story. We're telling your mother's story. We're telling our neighbor's story. We're telling our story. And as a daughter who's going, we have a character that's very similar to you in age and probably experience too, you know, having a parent that is going through these changes and becoming their own. You know, your mother is wildly, wildly amazing in who she is and unabashedly so, right? So you probably know part of the story, and I'm so excited for you to hear not only what we're doing here, but I'm hoping for you to take a look, and we'd love your perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
And also it's basically your future story. It's down the road, but
Yeah.
it's what I can say to that, to what Kimmi said, and as she's chatting with Dave, is that enjoy the journey. And I know journey is like a big term used in a lot of different arenas, but enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
Because honestly, it gets better. And why I made this was because we were led to believe that it didn't get better. And we were led to believe that as you age, you know, there is something that is called the invisible woman syndrome, that women of a certain age, usually over 50, over menopause, they're not really, people aren't looking to them to hear what they have to say or to, you know, what their views are. Let's just say this, they weren't looking to these women, but
It was a value problem.
yeah. And
Really was.
if you look of what's on the screen today, you're seeing Demi Moore at 61 have the highlight of her career. And us gals, we saw Demi Moore's career from the beginning to now.
Yeah.
And this is the highlight of her career. You see Michelle Yeoh, you see Jamie Lee Curtis. Kathy Bates is in her 70s, and she has the #1 show on network TV, brand new show, Matlock. Angela Bassett. I could go on. It's there. These women would not have a career 20 years ago.
I want to ask you something, Sharon.
Yeah.
When you look back, and I think that you're close to our age, when you look back and you're talking about Archie Bunker, you know, All in the Family,
Yeah.
who does Edith look like? What does she look like back then? She was in her 40s, but what did she look like?
Right.
What did that New Yorkish, brashish husband and the woman who was kept at home? I mean, in my opinion, and in several people we've talked to in this arena, she looked 60.
Right.
And guess what? That's not our story.
No.
No, it's not. And I'm 59. And yeah, but it's interesting I'm listening to what you're saying and I'm thinking, now I managed hotels for a long time. It was a male dominated career, but I sold cars for a while. And I remember there being challenges at every age for me as I was trying to make as much money as my male counterparts and do all of that. So I don't think for me it wasn't like, okay, now I'm in my 50s and I'm having challenges maybe more physically, but the challenges have always been there.
Right.
In terms of like, if you want to do what your male counterparts are doing. I mean, I remember in the car business, I was on the floor selling more cars per month than my male counterparts. And I remember being in a meeting and the manager saying something to the other men in the room, like, if she can do it, what's wrong with you? Like, you know, just this whole, like, why am I being singled out? You know, that's not even fair. Like, they're not manly enough or something, you know? So it's just this whole,
But he was taking a shot at your gender. That you're
Right.
He wasn't going to say that if it was a male who was the top
of
salesman.
course not.
If he can do it, why can't you? That was just
It was denigrating and
Right.
it was chauvinistic. And the other thing that it was that people don't realize the zhuzh and the moxie that women have in life.
Yeah.
In life in general.
Right.
I mean, we raise the children, we are the problem solvers, we go through all of these different phases of our lives. And the thing that we do is we listen.
Yeah.
we listen. And I know that, Trish has great kids. Her kids are wonderful. And, she's had her career what she's done and taking care of the family is mostly the story there. But she had other things that she did in her life. But the most important thing to her at that particular part of her life was making sure that she raised her children right. And they are amazing kids as a result of it.
Different choices that I made in different times that benefited my family. I'm not saying I wouldn't change a thing. It just is when I came out of raising the kids and they didn't need you anymore. I didn't know I didn't know where to go.
Right.
That's
I
right.
didn't know who I was. I didn't. Do I go back to work? I did go back to work.
Yeah.
And that was a little odd. Again, landing in the independent film world was my mecca. This is where I belong. This is where I want to be. And I loved every minute of it. I still love every minute of it. I love the collaboration that's involved. I love the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into it.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you don't have studio budgets, but you have to put a film together, as we've seen, Oscar-nominated films, Oscar-winning films,
Mm-hmm.
that are done on filmed on such low budgets, there's a lot of hard work. And I think one thing our generation, and I'm not, and we were raised to be hard workers.
Mm-hmm.
That, and I'm not saying any slight to any other generation, but that was drilled into our head.
Mm-hmm.
You work hard, you will get what you want. You work hard, you will get what you want.
We were raised without fear also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that. I'm going to brag a little bit. So, typically, when you meet somebody who is in the industry, there's a whole lot of different conversations that go on. And, I was the film commissioner of Sarasota County when I met Trish. And so, when we first met, there was this whole thing where we were going to meet up. And things kept happening, and we weren't able to meet up. And then, boom, she calls me one day. She was at Film Florida. We end up making the time to have conversation with each other. And the thing that I would say about her is that she was fearless. She was fearless in what she said. She was also slightly knowledgeable, but also she had admitted where she lacked and what she wanted to learn. And she was just one of those women that you're like, you know what, I could really lift her up in my ability to help her, but also she's going to really help herself. And I had faith in her immediately. There was no doubt. So the first thing that I did was there was a project coming up, and she had worked for partially for the film commissioner in Long Island.
Every county has a film commission that a filmmaker can go to and help with permits, help with locations, help even finding cast and crew.
Mhm.
So pretty much every county in the country has a film commission. And I was volunteering at the Nassau County Film Commission, which is about 45 minutes from the city, and being from New York City. When I say the city, it's New York City. And
It's not like on the island.
yeah. So it's it was a very busy film commission office.
Yeah. So when I talked with Trish and kind of figured out what she had wanted to do, I had a project that came up and they needed some help, and they also needed some people. And so Trish got to work on the Sarasota experience
Right. I
as
was an associate producer on
associate producer. Yeah.
WEDU's Sarasota Experience, which is a beautiful, beautiful documentary that aired on WEDU PBS. Sean Greenspan is the executive producer and the director. He did a beautiful job.
Beautiful.
And very, really proud of that credit. Really proud of the work I did. Really proud of the product, and really proud of that credit. So if we
And you earned it.
Yes. And if we're talking to local and outside of Sarasota, take a look at it. It's a really well done documentary.
So because Davis doesn't know, tell us a little bit about
Yeah,
F You 50s.
let's
How
get
did the
it.
title come up?
Yeah. All right.
Tell her what it is.
We're gonna go
Yes.
there. We're gonna go there.
Why are we
So-
saying FU 50s?
The FU 50s again. And you know what? I will show here this way. I wanted to make sure I remember the name, so I tattooed it on my wrist.
There we go.
And it's EFF.
Yeah, EFFYOU 50s. It is basically, we're really defining what it is. And if you think of like the women of Sex in the City, but let's bring that to 50-year-old suburban women and what they're talking about. And they're talking about aging, and they're talking about menopause, and they're talking about all of a sudden I got this like this bump of I don't care what people think.
Yeah. Well, thank you for comparing us to Sex in the City and not Golden Girls.
Right? Well, and I
that's what
think
wanna-
the beautiful thing about this project, it's a culmination of a lot of different type of shows.
Yeah.
And so what I mean by that is, you've got the Sex and the City girls. So it is the ability to talk about sex. Our
Right.
humor will not follow exactly that particular show's humor. However, when you think about Seinfeld and you think about Sex and the City and you think about Schitt's Creek, there are little pieces that we kind of are gluing together.
Yeah.
Because that's what women are.
Right.
We are an amalgamation of lots of different things put together
Yes.
And
to create the real story of
Right.
life.
And I love that because we were all about, Lauren and I are all about normalizing it because I referred to Dr. Ruth. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
Dr.
gosh,
Ruth
yes.
was talking about sex in
Exactly.
her 90s
Yeah.
and
Right.
making,
God bless her, right?
Right. And
She
making
was
it
normal.
honest and open
She
about
was the best.
everything, right? And it wasn't so taboo. Now it's like cancel culture and you have to be careful. But yeah.
I'd love for Trish to talk about who Maggie is.
Yeah,
Maggie is one of our key players here in this. And this,
right. I think all of the characters that
Mhm.
I created are a version of me.
Okay.
And version of my friends, version of you, Sharon, version of Kimmi.
Yeah.
It's I'll just start with this. The Eff You 50s is going to be a comedic series based on four to five women. We're kind of nailing that down right now. 4 to 5 women who are aging and what that means to age in America and how society puts limitations on us, and that we're like, guess what? Put the limitations all you want. We're not listening. We don't have to listen. We're going to do what we want to do, not what you want us to do. We're not going back into the box. We're not going back into wearing our house coats. Now I say that because the proof of concept episode that I wrote at 62 years old, first time I ever wrote a script, and shot at my home in New York over 2 days, again, independent. I had the director flying in, I had the director of photography flying in, stay at my house. We basically cooked for the cast and crew. There's a cast and crew of like, say, 40.
Amazing women, by the way.
Yes, amazing women. The director, Tracy Annarella, 61 years young. My
Fabulous director.
web designer is 63 years old, Debbie. The crew was primarily female.
Mhm.
And what we did was we filmed a woman who heard something on the news that stated that a certain political figure running for president was past her prime at 51.
Yeah.
And what happened then was I used,
True story.
yes, it is a true story. I used parody to tell the story. And the story was, well, this is a vibrant woman. Maggie's a vibrant woman. She's going to theater. She's traveling. Girl Weekend. She hosts the monthly sips and dips for the girls in town. And now she's like, well, it was on the news, so it must be right. It must be correct. It must be true. And he's saying, I'm 51, I'm late 50, so I'm definitely past my prime. I need to go shopping for my house coat. And if you remember what a house coat is, Sharon, do you know what it is?
I do.
I don't think Davis will know, but if we show her a picture, house coat was like this duster or a house dress, and it had like snaps up the front. It was all floral, and there was
Usually pockets.
Yeah, pockets for your
Our
tissues.
grandmothers, our mothers.
Right.
It was a common occurrence. They either came home from work and they
Right.
donned this little frock.
Yeah. It wasn't
or-
your pajamas.
Yeah.
But it wasn't you.
It was like the mother's outfit, the
Yes.
working mom outfit for the house.
At home, that she could do her chores in it, and she wasn't in her pajamas.
Yep.
And
But she cooked and cleaned.
Mhm.
yeah, she cooked and
And
cleaned.
the grandkids would give her the snotty rags and she'd
Right.
put it in her pocket.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just
So
Just how
how the proof of concept went was that her daughter, who was Jessie, who also was played by my daughter, and she had a son who was Arnie, who was also played by my son Jack, went housecoat shopping. And in this housecoat house, she was overhearing different women of this age saying, you know what, I had more sales than anyone, but here they are. They're gonna replace me with someone new at a lower salary. Teaching and how teaching in this environment is, and teachers, who are of a certain age have to learn all the technology and how technology plays a role. And then there was Tracy, who played a director, Tracy, the director, who played a director, and saying how she's not getting jobs because of her age. And it was the epiphany of shoot, why are we allowing society, why are we allowing the biz, why are we allowing the media to define our prime? We define our prime. And then it was this big, we called it the anthem scene. The ladies came walking to my house, and we wore those house coats, and we wore our tiaras, we bejeweled them, we zhuzhed them up, bedazzled them, and it was a big party of celebrating those house coats, because the woman who wore them were led to believe that their worth was behind them. And we wanted to show honor and respect to that group of women who wore those house coats in the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Yeah, that's great.
Because they paved the path for us. So it's a lot of humor. It's a lot of heart. There's a lot of lessons. And what came next was, let's create a series.
Yeah.
And we have a 8-episode series that we are creating.
Yes.
And what we're going to do is each woman is going to have her season. So we're going to start off with Maggie's season and Maggie's journey. And then we're going to go to another girl's season and her journey.
Right.
I call it the 4 tops way of doing things. It's how the 4 tops would sing. One would go to the front, sing the song, spotlight on them. Then they step back. Another 4 top would come up and they'd sing. It's like everyone gets their time and everyone else supports them.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
It's really, it's anecdotal satire mixed with a lot of funny circumstances. And I think that when you think about how Trish contrived this, it really speaks to honoring the strength and the conviction that our mothers gave us and their mothers before them. They almost had to walk through the fire. And that's what I see these house coats as a shield. They protected the children, they protected their family, and they were matriarchal. But there was a lot of things they did that people didn't realize. There was things behind the scene that they were doing, like the mother who tried to figure out with 7 kids how to get the one daughter the gift that she really needed to get her, while making the other children not feel like they were slighted in that whole Christmas scene. Those women had the power, and those were so inspiring to Trish in her journey. Her mother, I'm sure, is
my mom is
a huge part of this.
My mom is a huge part of this. Raising 7 children in the 70s on a budget.
You bet.
And really promoting that her daughters go to college as well as her sons. Yeah. It wasn't the boys just go to college and the girls just run the secretarial job. Yeah. It was she wanted her girls to go to college so that they would be able to support themselves and never have to rely on anyone else to support them. Yeah. But there is a lot of the feel of it, the style of it is kind of a throwback. I use a lot of embroidery. The text is an embroidery text in the logo. The logo, by the way, I went there. It is a pretty uterus.
It's a pretty uterus.
It's a really pretty floral uterus. Right. And I went there. And you know what? That's where life starts. Why not celebrate where life starts?
That's right.
It's also not denigrating to men. We embrace the men in the series. Trish has a real good balance, and Trish her husband is so supportive of her and her journey, and he's a great dad, and he's a great person, and you always feel welcomed in their home. He puts up with a lot from us women, by the way.
Right.
But the males that we have written into this are not we're not taking anything away from them. Like for our best, like visiting people that would come and visit the show, like Eric Roberts, like pulling him into a role, or, you know, just taking one of the main characters and making them have some sort of a strong relationship with that person, and then bringing them into the mix with the women, and then the men who are supporting these women and who are also not denigrating to the women.
Right.
Right.
And I want to thank you for bringing that up, because I feel like there's been a real shift in society,
Mhm.
and some of it's a little concerning, frankly. I think so. I think a lot of our younger men are now feeling a little lost. So,
Sure.
you know, I feel like there's just been this societal shift where women have become so empowered and kind of
But
banded together.
We wrote Arnie
Yeah.
in a very strong way.
Do you?
What do you mean by lost? Can you explain that?
Well, if you look at suicide rates, for example, a lot of
Mhm.
them are young men now.
Mhm.
It has shifted. It was a lot of younger women that were really struggling with mental illness.
Yeah.
And now you look at addiction and all of that, and it's really shifted more towards younger males.
Mhm.
You know, you look at who's committing the crimes with gun violence and that sort of thing, and it's mostly young men.
Yeah.
It's a lack
So-
of balance, and that is something that
Right.
Trish has been very,
And support.
very supportive of, and very, very sure to make sure that it's part of her story.
Right. I want to tell you this. I was just on the phone here with an actor, very recognizable actor, and he just came off of a show that ran for 13 years, and it involved a family having dinner. I don't want to get too much into it. Having dinner every at the end of every episode. Very well-known series.
Mhm.
And he's in. We're in talks with him to play the role of Bill, and and Bill is an ode to my husband. Bill is an ode to my son. Bill is an ode to this actor who I happen to know. Bill is an ode to the males in our lives that support us. And I said, I want to show a male who is supportive, strong in his own right, but supportive of women, supportive of different things going on. What you said, Sharon, to speak to to piggyback on that, one group doesn't have to win for the other group to lose, and one group doesn't have to lose for the other group to win.
Right.
We have to change that narrative. And
I agree.
I said this to this actor, and I said, you know, this is you, this is Pete, this is your two sons, this is my son, this is who this character is. We don't have to put this one down for this one to win. Let's stop that. Let's change the narrative.
Right.
Let's show a different perspective of what a male looks like who is friends with women.
Yeah.
Instead of it being another version of a male that we've seen so many times.
Right. I mean, it would be amazing, right? If we could have true equality on all levels. Would be a beautiful world.
Yes, and the FU 50s is going to be a series that celebrates women, but is not there to put anybody else down. And the two can exist at the same time. We can have that.
Mhm.
We just have to work towards it.
So I'm curious, and maybe you are too, Davis, like when you hear FU 50s, is there anything about your 50s that you were just like, oh my gosh, like, because in a lot of ways I look at my 50s as a really, really great time, because now I've raised my children. You know, I had a son and a daughter, and they're off and they're doing their life, and thankfully doing well. You know, and I'm at a place where I'm financially secure, and like you said, I've kind of figured some shit out. I don't really care so much about what people think. I'm
Right
gonna
on.
wear what I want to wear. I'm gonna go where I want to go.
Right.
Be with who I want to be with. Right. Choose my friends differently. So there's a lot of
So
really
important when you
right,
say that out loud.
right, to
Mhm.
choose your friends
Oh,
differently.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for young women
Yeah.
and young men. I would definitely encourage.
Mhm.
You
You
are
know,
who you surround yourself
You
with.
are who you surround
I-
yourself with.
I say my relationships, every relationship, I have to protect my mental health first.
Mhm.
Right.
And
Every
foremost.
relationship.
That's
Every
right.
relationship, I protect my mental health. Go ahead, Davis.
Also, I feel like, oh no, you're good. Also, I feel like as I feel like we can all agree, I think I'm a very good friend, and I know what the value I add to the scenario, to any situation. So it's like, why would I give someone that if they're not returning it?
Exactly.
Right.
there's something about meeting each other's energy.
Exactly.
And
100%.
that, don't lower your energy
Mhm.
to meet someone.
Exactly.
That means that you're not being you.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that's super important for young women as they're coming up is to recognize your value
Exactly.
in a way that you can say no to people
Exactly.
without harming them,
Mhm.
but also with preserving yourself and knowing that, you know, you've got only so many years on this earth. And, you know, when we're young, we are short sighted in that. We are very short sighted in understanding how that's going to play out for us. And, you know, there are nice people in this world, and there are people who are in this world for their own benefit.
Totally.
I'm glad you brought that up, because multi-gen, I think I mentioned it earlier, but this is extremely important to me. I learned, my daughter's 26 years old. She's a teacher, special ed teacher.
Yeah.
I learned from her and her generation so much. And I think that she's learning from me.
Yeah.
Again, just because they're younger or we're older doesn't mean that we have it all figured out or they have it all figured out. Let's have conversations and learn from each other.
Exactly.
And I have incorporated that into this series. That is a very, very important part of this series, is learning from each other and the multi-generations of taking the good from each other instead of this kind of bashing thing that society has done, like Gen X's are this and
Yeah.
Gen Y's are this and baby boomers are this. No, we're individuals.
Mhm.
So let's start acting as individuals, have conversations as individuals,
Yeah.
and learn from each other as individuals.
And I'm going to butcher this a little, but me and my friend, because science was never my strong subject, but I was talking to my friend the other day about how in, I think it was like 7th grade science class, we learned about, and I still can't tell you the definitions, that's why I didn't pass science, but there's like mutualism and commensalism and one more. And these are scientific definitions. And I can't tell you which is which, but one of them, it's about like organisms. And one is each organism feeds off of each other, but only one is getting good things from it and the other one is getting stuff taken away.
Right.
There's another one where they both feed off each other and they both get good things. We're like looking at the definition. It's like, oh, algae feeds on the whale, but then the whale gets cleaned. Like something, that's probably wrong, something like that.
Right.
And we were going through all these definitions, and me and my best friend, who is an amazing friend, we were talking about there's so many friendships where like one person is giving and the other one's taking or whatever. And we were like, the friendships we need to be in, and I think it's the mutualism one, is where you're both giving each other something and you both get out of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've had my same best friend since I was 10 years old. And a majority of the women that surround me are somewhere that I met somewhere between 10 and 15, you know, years old. And those women have stayed with me my entire life. And why is that? Because I put boundaries up. I remember a dear friend that I had, that I said to her one day when we found that it was just not, I found it wasn't mutual. And I went to her and I said, listen, I said, here's how this is going to go down. You're kind of disrespectful sometimes of me and try to belittle me, and I'm not going to deal with that.
Yeah.
I was 19.
Yeah.
And I said, this is my boundary. You're asking me to come back into the friendship, and I will, but I expect you to be respectful of me. And if you can't be, I totally understand it, but I will disconnect.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
And it's okay to
respect
disconnect.
Mhm.
It's okay.
Yeah. I respect that so much. I always say to my friends, I'm like, if I'm doing something wrong,
Tell me.
it's please tell me. And the issue is I've had friendships where freshman year of college, like I maybe messed up or whatever, and a girl stopped being my friend. And it's like, then you clearly were never my friend, because I know I'm a good person. So if I fucked up, clearly it's not a moral of my character, because I am a good friend. Clearly I just was confused or I messed up. So what a friend does is you clearly care about the friendship.
You talk
So
about
you
it.
talk about it and you fix it. And if they don't fix it, that is a whole nother
It's
story.
called being
Then
an adult.
why?
It's adult conversations.
But
And
a friendship is you mess up sometimes and you go and talk about
you're
it.
human. It's
and
called
you
being
fix it.
human as well.
Exactly.
We mess up, and it's not the mistake that defines us, it's the solution that defines us. And I say this to my kids, I say it to myself.
Yeah.
I have to live that as well. It's the solutions that define me.
Yeah.
Because we're all going to mess up, because we're human, and humans will mess up. But I'd love to hit on some of the topics that we're going to hit on in the series.
Yeah.
We said about dress your age. And menopause brain, where menopause brain is where we don't know where we forget our nouns now. It's like, what's that name? What's that guy's name? Oh God, Tim something.
Thank God for Siri.
And thank God for Siri. Siri, what's that actor's name? What's that restaurant's name? And we're gonna have fun doing it, and we're gonna, sometimes you have to.
One option.
There's Siri. There she is.
You have to tell the truth.
And cue Siri.
Yeah. And tell the truth and share your truth and share your warts.
Yeah.
Let your warts be seen, because we're
Go
human.
back to dress your age. Do we have to dress our age?
Well, you know what? We're
I'm
not
dressing my age.
No, we're not. Listen, we're going to.
That's the humor in it.
Right.
We're not dressing.
No,
We're
it was
dressing
more
our
of not. It was more of dressing. Trying to dress us in a house coat. That's what that was about.
Exactly.
And you
Good.
put this on because you're over 50.
Yeah.
And you go and you sit by the window and chase the kids off the lawn and wait for the mailman and do some light dusting and get the dinner ready.
Edith Bunker.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Now we're all in the Lululemons, right?
Right,
That's what we're
right.
all wearing. Trucker hats.
I feel very strongly about this is pretty at any age. This is going to be an important episode.
Mhm.
And
Pretty at any age. Okay.
I'm going to tell you why. Because I feel that the beauty industry has really done a number on us.
Oh yeah.
They have told us that erase those wrinkles, turn back the clock, anti-aging.
Yeah.
Guess what? Not everyone gets to age, and it's a gift to age.
Yeah.
So stop treating it like it's something bad.
The other thing I don't like about that term is you start aging the minute you're born.
Exactly.
The minute you're born.
And
you
not
start
the
to
cream
age.
that this actress is showing is going to really help me.
Right.
So stop selling me a pipe dream.
Right.
And stop telling me that I shouldn't age and that it's bad to
We're
age.
buying it, aren't we? It's a
You know what?
multi-billion-dollar
I have and with that, and you said about dressing a certain way or whatever.
Yeah.
I never want to take a shot at another woman who wants to dress a certain way, or who wants to enhance here. You know what? This has been embedded in us since we were born, of what we should look like, how we should appear, what our appearance is, and it's time to accept what you want. You want to do this. You want to lift your face. You want to put.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
That-
Go ahead.
I
That's-
support you.
You know what, Kimmi, that's what Lauren and I are always saying is the biggest problem. Women do not support other women
Right on.
in
Because
our own journey.
the media is telling us that's bad now. Look at, if you look, there is a sort of I wouldn't say a news site. It's a gossip site. And on that gossip site, they say good docs or good genes. And it's a picture of a woman and she's aging.
Dislike.
And it's,
Yeah.
wait a minute. Why are you taking a shot at a woman's looks
Right.
to sell ads?
Yeah.
Come on. You can do better than that. And we're not allowing it anymore. We're just not going to allow it.
The interesting thing too is that when we look at men and how they age, right? It is said that as men get older, they get more handsome and
Right.
they gray
Debonair.
appropriately, and they are debonair, and they are this
Salt,
and they are
pepper,
this, salt
yeah,
and
salt,
pepper. And look, they're still working out at whatever age. And all of that is wonderful. And I don't take that away from them, but I wish that the reverse was true for women, that people would look at us and be like, wow, this person is taking good care of herself and she's healthy and she's happy.
Yes.
She's
Be
happy.
happy. I was like, as I said, I was on the phone with this actor, and I've made changes in my life because I want to be happy. I quit
Right on.
drinking. Boom, I'm done. Done it. Quit drinking. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I am writing a series. I'm happy.
Yep.
I am starting on a healthy eating and working out. I'm happy. My kids are happy. My husband's happy. It's time for me to be happy.
Right.
It's time for mom to have self-care. Self-care does not mean selfish.
No, it doesn't.
Take care of yourself, because everything
Right.
else will fall into place after
And
that.
it's okay to be selfish a little bit. It is. It's totally okay. I think that one of the most beautiful themes too is that, when you're talking about how society views us versus how we view ourselves and even how our friends view us. I think that there's such a balance for women in their friendships and how we support each other that I think that Trish has taken a really good opportunity to highlight those relationships. Trish and I might be a little bit rare. I think Sharon, you and I off program have talked about like the friendships that I have for so long and like she has for so long, girls she grew up with.
Right.
It's very different. And some women don't get to experience that. And I love when we pull them into our fold and we love them like that.
Yes.
I don't care if I met you a year ago, 6 months ago, 2 weeks ago, you're going to know how we love the women in our lives.
Right.
Right.
And support. And I'll never forget, I read an article, Jamie Lee Curtis, or it was about 10, 15 years ago, and she's saying the women in my life at 50 years old at that time are everything to me because the support system that I have is everything to me. And I'll never forget that because that's what I wanted. And to have the best friends in your life, I had to be a better friend as well. I had to acknowledge my mistakes and how I could do better. It's not pointing the fingers. First, look inward.
Right.
And you're going to see a lot of changes that can happen there because we are human.
Right.
But I will say, and Sharon and Kimmi, you both saw the proof of concept. The girls who played the seasoned gals, and I say seasoned because it was seasoned to perfection, were my friends from first grade. My friends from first grade came out and worked at my film. They brought
I love the twins.
the twins. I met Susan, one of the twins in first grade, and her daughter was, I say, you were Kathy, and I said, Kathy, you were playing on the merry-go-round with Ginger. And that's the first time I saw you. I met Susan, was in my class every year, and Kathy, you were in my class in sixth grade. I want these women in my life. And you know what?
I would say you've been a good friend if you've had friends that long.
She is a good friend.
Thank you.
She's a very good friend.
You know, it's important
That
to
doesn't just
treat
happen.
people with respect and also not settle for less on your end. Not settle, always protect your mental health, always protect your emotional health.
Yeah.
That comes first.
Yeah.
And I learned that lesson. And I've also learned to be okay not being liked.
Right.
That's not easy. And if someone doesn't like you, they don't like you. That's going to happen. Move on, learn from it.
I always say that your good energy irritates their negative energy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
But I worked at that. And I had to work at it because I can't get into this business and not have a thicker skin.
Yeah.
It's necessary in this. This business is beautiful and can be very, very dark at the same exact time. So there's a lot of no's in this business, a lot of ghosting in this business.
Yeah.
So you have to have a thick skin. You have to pick yourself up and you have to move forward.
My business or what I do.
Tell me about that.
Like social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just obviously going to be comments and people who don't like you and
Haters.
whatever, and haters. But I think we were talking about that last time we did an episode because she was like, oh, do you like get a lot of hate? Does it bother you? And I think honestly, all the niceness does outweigh the bad. And also it's like when I get a mean comment, 99% of the time it's from like user 73140
Exactly.
profile picture.
Welcome to the game, bot.
But then I have like my friends who are amazing people and I trust, or even other people who post online who I think are like so cool and they're hyping me up and they're being nice. So I'm like, okay, clearly I think there's a common denominator of who's the issue here.
Right. And carry under what I was watching, just to really regarding this specific topic about social media and negative comments, and Carrie Underwood gave one of the contestants, she's a judge on American Idol now, and said, ghost the comments. Post what you want to post, but ghost the comments.
Amen.
Don't even pay attention.
Yeah.
Because everyone has opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But
one of the things you shared on the last episode, I just want to share with you. One of the great pieces of advice you shared was if you were in high school and having to sit alone at your table and you were like feeling sorry for yourself, you turned the narrative to say,
I feel sorry for them.
I feel sorry
They'd be
for
lucky to be sitting with me. I'm a great friend. I'm a great person.
yeah.
yeah, good for you. And
Yeah.
you're learning that at a young age.
Yeah, my circle has always been small for a reason because I know what I provide and I'm not going to settle for less.
Good.
Like if I give something, I expect it in return, and not everyone can do that. And I think it's funny you talked about selfishness because I think one of the most important things in my life at least, is finding the balance of like, of course, being selfish. You should put yourself first, but also that balance of being selfless as well. You know,
Yes.
whereas like all of my close friends in my close circle, like something
Mhm.
I value so much about them is like they're great women. They put themselves first. They believe in themselves. They love themselves. But at the same time, like they're the most selfless people ever. Like would take the shirt off their back for me as I would do the same for them. So I think it's really important to find that balance of selflessness and selfness.
Yes.
Blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, you
I think
know?
that that's so true, but also, you know, when you're walking in a world that's media driven, right? So
Oh yeah, completely.
you've got a fan base that can be wildly different. And because you have roots and wings,
Mhm.
you are very fortunate, whereas a lot of people don't have that, especially when it comes to actors and actresses. It is the most difficult journey for most of them. I'm actually friends with several people who I won't name, but they don't have that balance
Yeah.
in their world because people always want from them
Yeah.
and they don't see the person.
Right.
They see the skeleton that is out on stage doing whatever it is that they're, you know, dance monkey dance,
Right.
right? So that balance can be very difficult for them. And, you know, I say work with who you want to work with, but also understand that journey, especially when you're working with people that you think are difficult. Sometimes it's just a mask. You got to peel back the layers just like an onion and figure out who are they?
Right.
Because sometimes they don't even know.
Right.
They're so busy playing other people.
Right.
Yeah.
And fame is odd.
Double-edged sword.
Fame is odd. And I'm not looking for fame.
Yeah.
I'm looking to
Right.
create. And I didn't know that, or I didn't always know that.
Mhm.
And I know it now.
Yeah.
And Davis, I'm so happy you said that because you got to the FU 50s in your 20s,
Yeah.
and that means everything to me.
It's awesome.
And it really does, because I wish I had that insight that you have.
Yeah.
And I see that with my daughter as well.
It's probably because my mom's in her FU 50s, so
Right.
it's rubbing off on me.
But there is something that we are doing right
Mhm.
for the younger generation.
Yeah. 100%.
And allowing them to explore loving themselves first.
Mhm.
It was different for my generation. I can speak to how I don't want to speak to everyone else, but growing up in the 80s and not being a supermodel, looking like a supermodel, I was great. I was fine.
Mhm.
But
But
we
I
had,
was made to feel that I wasn't.
Yeah.
And
we had hairspray.
Right. And I listened to them instead of listening to hear and hear. I listened to what they were saying.
Mhm.
And it's like the media was telling me this, and you're not this enough. You're not that enough. Guess what? I am enough.
Yeah.
Amen.
Exactly.
You don't like it? Guess what? Don't look.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You don't
I
like
think,
you don't like what I have to say on social media? Don't look.
exactly.
Go somewhere else.
Yeah. And I think that's what makes it cool. That's what makes it different.
Mhm.
That's what makes it exciting. Like, you know, people say this thing like, oh, that girl could literally wear a trash bag and it's cool. It's like, it's just sometimes when you have this energy and this power and you are just so confident, like you can literally like wear anything or be anyone. And like, that's just cool because you're doing it, you
Mhm.
know? I think it's cool to be different. And I think,
I love being different.
Yeah.
I love it. I embrace it every day, and I love thinking outside the box. And
Mhm.
I was talking to someone on my team, and they said, "Well, this is what's trending in TikTok," and I was like, "I don't want to follow a trend. I want to
Yeah.
create a trend.
Yeah.
I'm 63
Exactly.
years old. I'm going to create a trend.
There you go.
I'm not going to follow."
Yeah.
So, but just do you. That's who I am. Do you.
Yeah.
There's room for all of us.
That's the coolest thing you can do.
Right.
Be you. Yeah.
We're going to make some amazing marketing things that hopefully are going to really inspire people to understand what this is about far before it even hits
Right.
the mainstream. So there's some things
Might
that
be
we're going to
some
be
product
doing.
placement, Davis, that I
Yep.
might need
Yeah,
a certain
exactly.
influencer to wear. So we'll be talking about that in the
Yep.
future. And my social media, I have a great social media team,
Yeah.
Mia and Gianna, who are of the, oh God, I don't want to get the wrong agency, ML agency. Mia, forgive me if I got that wrong. But
And then our other team, Sarah.
Sarah's
amazing.
Sarah, yeah, Mia.
Woo-hoo.
So Mia and Bianca are launching my social media. I have a meeting with them tomorrow. I have some merch that I'm doing that I'm going to launch.
Mhm.
I may even ask you for some suggestions.
Mhm.
a lot going on. I'm building. It's not just a movie. It's a movement.
Yeah.
It's a brand,
Yeah, totally. 100%.
and it's a way of thinking.
100%.
Amen.
I say the exact
And
same
let's
thing.
just, and sometimes it just takes a small pivot.
Yeah, it's not even a brand, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah, it's a
Right.
lifestyle.
There you go.
A small pivot,
Mhm.
and you're there.
Mhm.
Insert the magic.
Yep.
I agree. Well, it's why we call it joy of the hang, because life is all about being joyful and hanging out with your friends, and that's what this is all about.
Yes.
Well, it's funny because joy of the hang, that like sparks something I feel really passionate about. Is just, I believe, and I don't even know if this is in a spiritual way, I think it's more of just in a factual way. I believe like your path is already made for you in a way. Like, I believe, like, I don't even know it. The way I got into social media, I was telling her about that, was like an account got deleted and I happened to like post a video and then it did really well. And I was like, oh, I'm going to keep doing this. And I believe like what I'm doing right now, it feels so right. It feels so perfect. Like, not only do I love it, it's just like, when you know, and it just feels so right. And it's like, I don't think that just happened. I think since the moment I was born, I was meant to be sitting in this chair
I
right
agree
now.
with you 100%.
So it's like, if I know my future's already carved out for me, my path is already made, and all these great things are going to happen, it's like, just enjoy it.
Trust in it.
Trust it.
Yeah,
Like, enjoy
trust
every
it.
moment, because
Mhm.
your future's already made. So you might as well just ride it out and enjoy with the hang.
And I
Amen.
do agree with you there. And I do agree with that. We have our path and we have choices,
Mhm.
but it's in front of us, and we have to manifest it.
Yeah, just
Manifest.
I'm the biggest manifestor.
Yes, I'm
ever. I think I've
I
manifested my whole
just
life.
started. I didn't even, I didn't know about manifesting. I didn't know about
I think it's
spirit
more just being,
guides.
like,
I didn't know
delusional
about the
from us.
universe.
Yeah.
I am just dove into learning all about that side of
Mhm.
me. That side of me has now become more prominent as well.
Yeah.
And I'm happy.
Yeah.
It's made me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's joyful. I
Yeah.
want to be joyful.
That's right.
And
Well, I want to thank you for having us. I want to
Yeah.
thank Trish for being able to bring to life this project, which I am absolutely excited about working on. She's an amazing creator, and she's got a lot of ability to have ideation. And shows like this are really where we want to be. We want to be on shows that make a difference.
Mhm.
We don't want to just talk to anybody. We are going to choose our destiny, because
I like that.
yeah,
I like that.
and we want
it's important.
and we want to laugh, and we may want to cry. I mean, we may argue,
Mhm.
but again, it's not the problem, it's the solution that defines us.
Exactly.
And I just want to say that anyone can find us on, if you go to my website, it's the easiest. It's trishappello.com, TRISHAPPELLO .com. It's the FU50s. We are on Insta, Facebook, and TikTok, and Blue Sky, at THEEFFYOU 50S. That's why I say go to my website, because it's easy to find everything. And I hope you tune in. And thank you, Sharon, for having us. And thank you, Davis. This is wonderful. It was lovely
good.
meeting you.
Before I let you go, remember I said we ask every guest
Yes.
for advice that
And I
they would
thought about
give
this.
their younger self. So before we let you go, what advice?
I thought about this when you said this, and I thought about this outside of our conversation. I'm 62, and I'm where I'm at now because I had to learn my lessons prior
Mhm.
to get here.
Mhm.
I say I am a late bloomer, but at least I bloom. I always bloom. So what I would tell my younger self is be patient, pay attention, and enjoy the ride, because I didn't always enjoy the ride. Enjoy your life.
Yeah, because it sure is short.
It is short.
Sure is short. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you,
with
Sharon.
us.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Davis. Thank you,
Yeah,
Kimmy, for
amazing.
coming on. This is great. I appreciate it.
And we say peace out.
Peace out, Girl Scouts. How am I supposed to say?
I love it. Good job.